Still having fun?
Yeah.
Now this next song, which comes off the Siamese Dream album from 1993, before most of you were born.
No. No, really.
I tried. Siamese Dream was an album that deals a lot with coming of age and struggling with one's family.
An amazing album.
Not bad. Not bad. Rolling Stone gave the album 3 stars.
It's all irrelevant.
Said it was overproduced. That was a bit dramatic. They, of course, followed it up by giving Melancholy Infinite Sadness 2.5 stars. And that album, of course, went on to be one of the biggest selling albums of all time. Thanks to you. But little did you know that we had completely fooled you with this terrible work.
Yeah, me also.
So, my father and my mother met allegedly at a high school dance. My father was playing in a band. My mother was 18. He was 18. He'd been playing in bands already for a few years. He started by playing in strip clubs when he was 16 years old. And so when he met my mother, he was a seasoned musician. And they fell in love, allegedly. And not too long after that, I was born, when both of them were 19 years old. They were together, they were not together, they were together, they were not together. My brother came along, and then they split permanently. And my father took my brother, who at the time was about this high, and he took him away to Puerto Rico, actually. And I didn't see my father or my brother for a very long time. And I went to live with my great-grandmother, who was born in Belgium. And she barely spoke English, but she was an amazing woman. So my mother was named after Martha. And I lived with her, and I lived with my grandfather, who was a terrible alcoholic, but not a bad alcoholic in the sense that he was very kind. And the reason I went to live with them was my mother lost her mind and was committed to an insane asylum. And I don't know what happened to her there, but when she came out later, I didn't see her for years. She was a completely different person, almost as if they transplanted her personality. There was another person in this being who looked like my mother. So in that year and a half that I lived with my grandfather and my great-grandmother, it was this beautiful year of creativity and drawing and reading and watching wrestling and baseball. And one day my father showed up and said, "Let's go." And next thing you know, I was living in a trailer with my father, my brother who did not recognize me, and my new stepmother. And within maybe one day, my brother, because he didn't know who I was, he leapt on me and bit a chunk out of my back about that big. And that was my welcome to my new family. And what followed was a lot of violence, a lot of drugs, arrest, incarceration, and of course, my brother, who he named Spaceboy, Jesse. My brother was born with a rare chromosomal disorder that was so rare when he was born there were only 100 cases in the entire world. And so doctors would come literally from hundreds of miles away to look at him because he was a such curiosity. And of course, he was our brother. And I was tasked with the responsibility of caring for him. And so he became my problem. And I watched with horror at 9 years old, 10 years old, into my teens. We would be at a park, and he would be playing in the sand, and I would be sitting there, and there would be people right there calling him a retard. I'm not talking about children, I'm talking about adults. A retard, a mongoloid, a gimp. I heard it all. And so my brother, who seemed fairly normal to us, was branded by the world to be this alien, which of course on some level I identified with because my home life was not good. And I felt in many ways that he had it better than me because he was not beaten where we were. So, where does this go? Around 16 years of age, my brother was put into a quote-unquote normal high school. He was the first of his generation to be taken out of special education and put into a conventional setting with the idea that the students needed to get to know someone like him, and he needed to get to know students outside of a program where his feelings and his emotions would be protected, which threw my brother into an incredible depression and really scared the shit out of us because for the first time, that beautiful bubble that he lived in was popped. And my response to his depression was to give him the Metallica Black album.
Nice.
It started his lifelong love affair with the most vicious, evil, ungodly metal from Norway. I can't even pronounce the band's names that he likes. And so, in writing Siamese Dream, somehow in the murk of all of this, trying to figure out what I was trying to say, this song came out. And yeah.
Feeling, break your bones, Mr. Jones. Taste me as I bleed, taste my need. And Spaceboy, I missed you. Spinning around my head, and any way you choose me, you'll break instead. Watch me, death defy my life. It's when a lover breaks. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. The Spaceboy will kill me before I'm dead and gone. And any way you choose me, it won't be wrong.